Morning, everybody. How's it going? We have a few victims from yesterday. As we don't know if it's because of the first speaker, or it's because it's very early morning, but we don't want to get into that. So I'm gonna be the guy walking you guys through the whole event today. Before I jump into the presentation that I'm supposed to have around customer experience, let me just talk about a little bit myself and about the company that I work for. My name is Gianluca. I'm the head of financial services at Simon-Kucher & Partners. For those who don't know Simon-Kucher & Partners, we're a German consulting firm, and we're the largest specialized consulting firm in the world. We have 38 offices and around 1,200 people around the world. We believe that the reason of our success over the past 30 years has been being a specialized consulting firm. So you will never hear Simon-Kucher & Partners when it comes to cost cutting or restructuring of organizations or IT redevelopments. We are a growth consulting firm. So the top line growth and profitable growth is exactly what Simon-Kucher does, and we will never get out of our niche. According to the latest rankings, the one that I'm particularly proud of is the one on the left. We've just been nominated the #1 consulting firm in the UK out of 1,000 firms for pricing, marketing, and brand. And final about myself and the company, we do serve global leaders. I mean, think about pretty much every company. Every company in the world is probably one of our clients. As I said, we're very strong in pricing. There is a high chance that if you buy a car, if you're a fan of a Porsche or Maserati, or if you like soccer and you want to go to the World Cup, price behind all those products is done by colleagues of mine. Of course, I ended up in an industry that is less fancy, but we have to adapt anyway. When I was asked to do the customer experience presentation today, I started thinking, okay, what am I going to say that has an impact as a first presentation to wake up the audience? So I started thinking, customer experience. Experience is something that is an individual something that happens in your brain, that happens in your mind, isn't it? Otherwise, it wouldn't be called experience. So my point here is, if you want to develop for your institutions a great customer experience that ultimately generates more revenues and more growth, you have to start from the basics. You have to start from how human beings take decisions, how they think. And that's actually what I'm going to walk you through briefly in my presentation. You're human beings, right? There is no Neanderthalensis guy, because they're all extinct. So let's just play a little bit of a game here. When you see this picture, what do you think? What does your mind tell you? The baby is about to cry, right? That is, do you all agree? That's good. Why is that? Because your intuition, your so-called fast thinking Daniel Kahneman is telling you that this baby is about to cry. You don't have any mental effort in doing this association. People take a lot of decisions in exactly this way. What do you think when apart from the panic that I go through myself, what do you think when I show you this picture? Come on, it's 1,875. It's not that difficult. I'm joking, of course. It takes a lot of mental effort. It's not that you cannot do it. You can do it, but it's very difficult to make. Psychological studies call it slow thinking. It's another part of your brain that does this type of thinking. Psychological studies and behavioral economics, they've spent the past 30 years discussing how people take decisions. And at the end of a lot of studies, we came to the conclusion that most of the people, actually, even for the most important decisions in life, they use the fast thinking and not the slow thinking. Even if something is very difficult, people tend to associate and to simplify it in a number of smaller decisions. So in our customer journeys, in our user experiences, if we have too much slow thinking, and believe me, I bank with a lot of banks around here, and there is a lot of slow thinking in the customer journey, dropout rate is high, cross-selling rate is under potential. So how can we improve this situation? Another example. What do you think when I show you this picture? It's not coming home. That's one, I understand. Let me give you a little bit of help on this one. I believe that your mind is telling you, is concentrating on the missing spots. This is an example of fast thinking. You take a look and you say, okay, but there's something missing and something in your brain is bothering you. You want to fill it in. Right? That's why these guys make millions. And this is what we call the Panini effect. And this is the basic of cross-selling. Showing something that is missing in a picture, in a puzzle, human brain tends to associate it with something that they have to do. It's how we think. Other example, imagine two supermarkets in the same area of the city. In one supermarket, there is one stand inside that advertises jams. In the first stand, there is just 6 jams outside. In the other supermarket, there is the same stand with 24 jams. Okay? People flow in, people are looking at the gems, people buy gems, people don't buy gems. The experiment said that the stand that has a lot of gems attract more people, because from the far away you see many colors, you see many varieties, so you just go and take a look at that. But what do you think happened when it actually comes to take out the money and pay for this? Completely the opposite. 30% buy more in the 6 gems and 3% only buy in the 24 gems. This is an example of slow thinking, too much. It's called choice overload. When I go into a website, when I go into an app, my customer experience is not okay if there is too many information cracked into the picture. And I don't buy. I don't generate revenue for the company that creates the journey. I'm slowly moving into the financial services spectrum. Otherwise, you start throwing gems at me. But this is another example of insurance. In one case, they presented a bunch of people with all these risks of fire, risk of flood, risk of electrical malfunctioning, and they asked the people to select all the risks that they were worried of. In the other example, same people, statistically relevant, they asked these people, deselect all the risks that you're not worried about. It's exactly the opposite. Example of fast thinking. People think intuitively. People, on the one side, selected 2.97 risks, which means that they are afraid, they're worried about 3 things on average. On the other side, the people deselected more or less 3 risks, because when you take a look at that, you assume, you give it a default that this risk might happen, and you overperform, over increase the probability that this might happen. Good thing for who sells this is that in one case you sell 3 products, in the other case you actually sell 7 products. Taking a minute to pause here, because now I'm jumping into a real case that we did in pure financial services. So what we did, we created 2 websites. One that looks like a traditional bank website. I'm going to show it to you right now. And the other one has a different customer journey, has a different customer experience. And let's check what happens with the two of them. So Jamie helps me out on this. This really looks like a website of a traditional bank. You have on the left side, you have all the products, accounts, cards, investing, savings. If I'm a customer and I click on accounts, there are something that the customer journey asks you. So for example, do you pay your bills online in the branch? Let's say that we do it online. And then the system typically asks you, okay, choose among the products that we have to offer. You can select one based on your needs. You can scroll down. You can say, maybe you want to talk about a debit card. Yes, I want it. Add it to the shopping bag. And then you enter the real process of really opening the current account. But that's how it looks like in a traditional bank. Then at the end of the journey, you say, well, maybe you might be interested in cards, you might be interested in something else, but it's already too late. People have already put a stamp in their head and they said, okay, I just finished my purchase decision. We did the exact same exercise with a different customer journey. Let's open it up. This is, it uses the default option that we were discussing before, the one on the insurances. I assume that you as a customer needs 5 products to take care of your daily banking needs. Why is that? Because it's like that. Nobody can say that you don't have those five banking needs. So the customer journey has been completely restructured. So we start from the first point. We give more value to the value proposition of the bank, who we are. We have branches all over the place. We've never defaulted. We're not involved into scandals. All these kind of things. You just go along with the picture. But the key thing is Panini effect. I assume that you need all these 5 products, and if you don't, I'm just showing that there is something missing here. Let's carry on. Again, it's the same thing, it's just put in a different way. You buy the same thing, you go to next, you talk about the debit card because you need it, absolutely. You buy, you don't buy, you just carry on. Credit card now, you select the credit card that you're interested in. Again, it's all good, better, best decision making, very simple. On the left-hand side, there is the more valuable, which costs more. On the right-hand side, there is something that costs less, which gives less. Very strong association to people that don't know finance. They don't do finance every day. And then at the end, you don't select overdraft, and so it remains a blank spot. What I want to show you now is the final slide, which is, okay, let's talk about results. We talk about customer experience, human mind, etc. But what does it mean to you in terms of revenues that your company takes home if you do something like this? We did 4 different examples. So I'm just showing you So what I've showed you is this one and this one. There are 2 intermediate ones because we wanted to show what makes more of a difference. But for this presentation, it's not really mattering. This is the percentage of people out of like 1,000 customers that purchased all the 5 products. In the case of a traditional customer journey, and in the case of a storytelling with stickers, with Panini effects, with default option effect, there is a 295% increase in the cross-selling. An increase in the cross-selling in the banking days of today. Cross-selling means return on equity for banking anyway. So I hope I gave you a quick overview about customer psychology, how we can use it and how we can transform customer journey in a way that doesn't cost much to do, but it takes a lot of brain and it takes a lot of understanding how people think to drive top line and bottom line results. Thank you very much.